And I just realized that y'all couldn't hear me the entire time. So, once again, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Critical Tunes, where a nerdy ass composer composes music for Geek and Sundry's Dungeons and Dragons show Critical Role. Uh, as I was saying, today I'll be composing Tiberius's theme. For those of you who watch the show, you'll know that Tiberius, played by the amazing Orion Acaba, left a little early. I figured let's give him some musical love, because he deserves it. But also the other reason being, I'm still waiting on some entries from y'all in terms of in terms of Grog's theme. Excuse me. Um, and for those of you who are just joining in and wondering what the hell entry are you talking about, I'm talking about I was looking for some rage noises, your best sort of battle cry sounds that you can muster up and send those to me so I can actually include in Grog's theme. So while I'm waiting on those, I'm gonna be doing Tiberius's theme. So just gonna jump on right in. Jump on right in. That's new. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, feel free to holler on chat, and if you sort of want to stay anonymous and sort of want to just holler on Twitter, that's okay. My handle is at AidenChan, spelled AIDENCHAN. So holler at me there too. But yeah, stay active, say hi, and let's just have fun. So I'll just show you what I got so far. And this is, and I just realized I turned that down, so y'all can hear that either. I'm just all over the place today. And here we go. Here's what Tiberius's theme sounds like for now. So yeah, that's what it sounds like so far. So what I have planned for today, today's stream at least, is I'm going to redo bars 5 to 9. I'm just not quite happy with what it's sounding like. I have it all in here, so don't worry if you're worrying that I'm gonna forget. Don't worry, it's all up in here. Yeah, I'm gonna redo do those 4 bars just because I'm not quite happy with. Um, for those of you who are less musically inclined, we call it voicing, and that's really just what instrument gets what. So I'm not happy with that. It sounds a bit too thin and hollow right now. I mean, like there's moments where it's fine, but most of the time it sounds just like several dynamics too low. So I'm just gonna do the good old delete. Oh, it wants to make sure if I really want to delete it. Yes, I really want to delete it. Um, let's start this section from scratch, because I can, and also I would like to. And I'm just going ahead and tidying this part up. You know, it's nothing. It's the same thing with digital audio workstations, and not just audio, just any sort of digital workstation. You want to keep it as tidy as possible, like a real office desk. People might tell you your job's not real, but if you make it seem real, it is real. So let's get started. So it was a sort of descending, and if you haven't noticed already, I'm sticking with a sort of regal aspect in this section, in the main theme for Tiberius, just so it sort of establishes his actual nobility and royalness, regality, is that a word? But yeah, it establishes his character's backstory. Um, because in Draconian Knights, and for those of you who don't know, that's Orion's sort of own little what's the word, spin-off project, if you will, of Critical Role, where Tiberius goes on his own sort of adventures, and he has a little sort of audio series on YouTube. So you should check it out. It's amazing. If you love Critical Role, you will love Draconian Knights. So with this section, with this sort of more noble section, I'm drawing on that sort of feel that, you know, imagine like a throne room and Tiberius is walking in slow mo through it. That's the sort of the visual I'm going for. Um, so yeah, and then later on we'll I, without spoiling too much, later on we'll sort of abruptly get into his more playful side, if you will. I did hint, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I do hint on the sort of fields I draw on before I even start composing. And so for those of you who do follow me, you'll know that this theme is going to have a sort of Skyrim-y mood, but it'll draw on some sort of funkier John Williams, maybe Harry Potter like sounds, to highlight Tiberius's sorcerer attributes. He's a sorcerer, right? He's a sorcerer, or he's a wizard. I forget. I feel terrible right now. I feel terrible, but forgive me, Orion, if you are watching. Yeah. So let's get right into this. I'm actually going to confession. That section that I just deleted, I actually started with just strings, and I built from there. And that's a very sort of big-ish problem when you compose from a certain section. You sort of fall in love with a particular sound, and as you add more to it, it just starts sounding more and more shit. So now that I have a pretty much full orchestra going on, I am going to build from the instrument that I would like to have the main melody, and that is the French horn. So let's just okay, so I have the E on the cello, this E, which you might be able to hear. Now, in music theory, that E is called a leading tone. And that's just a fancy way of saying that it wants to go to the note right above it. Because when you hear that note, don't you want it to go, right? And that's where that note is going to go. Now, I am going to give that note to that F to the cellos, but I also want to double it in the horns, because the horns have the main melody. The cellos are going to sort of harmonize it. Now, some of you might say, well, why are you giving you the same note to two instruments? Well, if you sort of, it'll sound truncated that way. If the E was sounding in the cellos, and then suddenly jumps to the horns, it's gonna sound weird. It'll be like because there's the quality of their sound. The quality is so drastically different that it's gonna sound weird. Now that's why you give it to both of them. So when one of them does drop out of that note, one, it's less noticeable. Two, it's smoother and it actually sounds nice. We're making music for the sake of it sounding nice. We're not trying to, we're not, how do I put this? We're not making music about booty and hoes, nor are we making music about, I don't know, some old dude sitting in the clouds, watching us fuck shit up. This is music that's meant to make certain, if not most people, feel something. It's meant to inject a visual in your mind. So, with that in mind, and for the fifth fucking time, let's get started. So, oh no. And I'm gonna... There we go. Now, before we get to the cellos, you'll notice I have two French horn solo parts. And that's because, I'm a sucker for French horns, so I'm going to harmonize the two parts. Now, here is when you can be a little bit careful and nitpicky about doubling the same note. And again, doubling is just a fancy word of saying putting the same note on two different instruments. So this F I'm already going to give to the cellos because it's got the leading note here. Right? Doesn't it want to go there? Right. I know it sounds a little naked and not good right now, but hopefully we can remedy that in the next hour ish and a half ish. So let's see. Okay, I like that, but it's a little too soft and it's a little too loud. Now, I'm gonna increase the velocity a little. And for those of you who are just joining us, this is the first ever sort of music production show you're watching. Velocity just means how hard you're playing the instrument if it were real. Yeah, none of these are real instruments, so you gotta fake everything. So velocity is just, in the case of the French horn, which is what I'm working on right now, is how hard you're blowing into it. Drastically different to, right? So I kind of want that sort of broken sound. Okay. Now it sounds too smooth. So when you're playing a horn for real, or any sort of wind or brass instrument where you have to blow into it, you're not gonna be able to play that like. Yeah, no. So you're gonna play it with some breaths, and well, for us musicians, we call them breath marks. And in actual notation, you'll actually put a comma there. It means take a breath, breathe a little, take it easy. So it'll sound more like, which on its own, yeah, sounds a little weird and sort of bad. But when it's mixed into everything else sort of makes up for those gaps. So, it's a little give and take with these textural things. Now, I'm running into a problem that most unwealthy producers will run into, and is your native samples and native just means the samples that come with your software. In this case, Logic Pro X, are a little shite. And you'll notice suddenly this one note sounds different. Like just the way it sounds, its timbre sounds different. It's like, ooh. So we got to make up for that, either by choosing a note that lands on this on this A, by choosing a harmony on another part that makes up for the lack of bite. So it goes. We gotta check if the bite even works. Okay, that's too much. Too, even for my taste, too much breath. There we go. Now these need to go up. Now, you'll probably notice right here at the fourth beat of bar 5. It sounds a little weird because I've doctored the two French horn solo parts to be slightly different. So when they hit the same note, they're actually a little out of sync, what we call out of phase. What that means, that just means that if you imagine each note as being a waveform, it just means their peaks and dips are out of sync, and you're hearing the difference. They're canceling each other out, and you're hearing the resultant tone. And that's not good. So we gotta fix this. Let's see. I'm thinking about the chords. So. Don't like that. I like the G with the B. It's pretty standard. It's a third. I need to find a note for here. I was hoping to make a suspension, but I'm not too huge a fan of the G and A. It's a major second. And for those of you who don't study music, major second is just a fancy way of saying they're sort of right next to each other, but they're not. There's a sort of semitone in between. So see, that's oh no, what did I do? There we go. That's a major second. There's a little bit of a there's a tone in between them, whereas that is called a minor second. And when you resolve that, and resolve is just meaning it just means a chord will clash, and then you just make it not clash. That's called resolving. So if you resolve this, that's result, and that's a very common sort of movie, like film score, video game score resolution. Like yeah, it's used to sort of build tension, but sort of let it go, and you'll hear it a lot in a lot of heroic moments. Lots of you hear that a lot in a lot of like superhero or fantasy movies. So back to I think it was a G, right? Yep. Now wanted to make this as sustained as possible, but I'm thinking it might not actually work. So let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Now, a lot of times, for those of you who are prospective composers, you'll find yourself, writing a part. And if you're as melodic a thinker as I am, sometimes you'll be like, yeah, I got this melody going, and then suddenly, ooh, I need to harmonize it. And the only way to do that is if I make this one instrument play the same note 3 goddamn times. And that's not a bad thing. It really isn't. It really is not a bad thing. It means it gives you a chance to give other parts a time to shine, and also sort of moves the attention all around the orchestra, and it makes it a little bit more tasteful. You want to catch the ear of those Emmy judges, those Grammy judges, those ivory tower sort of fancy schmancy hoity-toity types. That's what you got to do. So, anyway, back to this. Actually, and I actually might want these even less broken, and these ones. I like that, but I want these C's to be more connected. Y'all are hearing me, right? Yeah, y'all are hearing me. There we go. I like that. Okay. That's not bad. Now, I'm tempted to go do cello right now, but actually I'm gonna do trombones, just because and this is a thing that's sort of been hammered into me all through music school, and that is to have a balanced part. What that means, and it means what it sounds like, is literally if you got sound going on your left side, or is that left side for? Yeah, it's left side for you guys. If you got sound going on the left side, you want sound coming out of your right side. And it doesn't have to be the exact same sound. It just needs to balance. So I've got sort of a main melody going on and a main harmony going on in the French horn parts, and that's coming out of the left side of my headphones. Now I need to balance that out with the trombones, because once I balance it out, then I'll know what the harmonies really sound like on both sides of my ear before I start messing and adding yet another layer to my left side. That is the cello part. So while I'm tempted to do the cello, I cannot mouth today. So while I'm doing the cello, tempted to do the cello, I'm going to do the trombones first. All right. So what we got again? Okay. So. Now, trombones have a much harsher, bitier tone than French horns, so I don't actually want it to engage that. So all right, so that's not bad. Okay, I like that. Now, for those of you who are a little bit musically inclined, you'll be probably wanting to stab my face through the screen right about now and wondering why I put the C below the F. Doesn't that make that a second inversion? For those of you who don't know what that means, it's just a fancy way of saying I just flipped the chord. Chords usually have 3 notes, and I just put the top note on the bottom. Um, and the reason why is second inversions, while are frowned upon, can be used to create movement in the chord progression. Um, because it's so unstable, it drives the otherwise anemic sounding melody forward. It drives it forward. So while I can put the C up here, it'll sit more nicely, so to speak. Doesn't that sound more? Here's the chord. But if I put, it's just a little bit of a little comfortable, a little. That's why. Sort of a. What's the spell in D&D? The bard spell. It's like a not vicious mockery. The other one, the cutting words. It's sort of like cutting words in one ear. It makes you want to go. So yeah. So that's why I put the C down there, and I very much might change my mind later. Excuse me. But for now, this is what I'm gonna go with. So. Ooh, I like it. Also, when you do the second inversion, and to reiterate, that's the chord flipped. When you do that, when you do use it, sometimes when it hits certain notes, it gives you composition that really churchy, cathedral-y, palacey, throne roomy feel. Like, and my favorite is this D F E G, or the other way around. No, yeah, D F E G. It just, right? Like, once it hits that E G, that DF is a little even more. Oh God. Oh, and then EG is like. Oh. Wait, no, it's EA. My bad. DG EA. Okay, yeah. But once it hits that EA, it gets so. It opens it up, and because it's higher in register, and it's one of those, we call this a fifth because there's five. Look, 1, 2, oh, you can't really see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. It's called a fifth. And it's often avoided because it sounds so hollow and it sounds so open, but in cases like this, it's perfect. You know, the thing about video game, film, tabletop RPG composing is that you get to play on emotions. You get to sort of bend the rules a little bit, and your excuse is, it freaking sounds good. It makes me feel things, man. And that's awesome. So, and we'll get to the resolution at this point, right? A little bit later. But I'm loving how this sounds like. I might need to mess with the balance a little bit later, but that's okay. Because now we can go do the cellos. Now, so I've got this. I got the main melody going, which is ba 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 ba. Now I want to have. You could argue that this harmony I gave, the second French horn solo part, is a counter melody, but it's not really because it's not really melodic. It's supporting that melody. It's not in itself. It doesn't. It couldn't stand alone. Unfortunately. So, what I'm gonna do in this cello part is the real counter melody because when you take it out and play it in it on its lonesome, it'll sound like a melody. And that's what constitutes a counter melody. Now I still want that main melody to be the main melody. So this counter melody is gonna be a little bit more. It'll take a little bit more of a backseat, but it'll still be there. It'll be present, and it'll just lend more sort of emotional backdrop to this here section. So let's see. I'm deciding. Now, oftentimes, if you're as melodic as me, you'll run into this problem. You'll think up of an amazing counter melody, and then you'll notice one of the notes is exactly the same as in the melody, and when that's the case, like if you didn't notice, I'll play it again. That note just got eaten. It blended in. Ba, ba, ba. We don't want that. This is a counter melody. So I like that, but it sort of overshadows that suspension I had, that little dissonance, the B C dissonance I have right at 6 or right there. It just sort of overshadows that. So I don't want the cellos to have that D. Sorry, cellos. Okay. It makes it a little bit more harmonic than melodic, so but that's okay. But just to experiment, I'm gonna try this. Oop. That blended in way too much. I like this. This F E D. It stood out. So maybe. So. Oh, and hello, Monica. How are you doing? Glad you are here. Spread the word. Tweet. Get all the critters to come watch. Oh, also, I should have probably taken the time to thank Orion Acaba himself, the guy who plays Tiberius, who retweeted on Twitter my little sort of announcement that I was going to stream today. So thank you, Orion. Thank you so much. this is for you. So there we go. Okay. And you'll notice that it sounds a little and that's just the sample. Also, Monica, yes, those are French horns. Well, I'm working on cello right now, but indeed, I just did French horns. You just missed me doing French horns. I might start working on them later, but for now, it's cellos. But yeah, you're hearing in the background. Alrighty. So let's fix this breath problem in the cellos. Sounds a little asthmatic. Sounds a little out of breath. Now that's a little late. So, and when you're a poor producer, hashtag poor producer, like me, you're gonna have to do a lot of curmudgeoning. No, that's not the right word. A lot of stuff to doctor these samples. And yeah, exactly as Monica said, a tie or a slur. Well, you're really feigning one because you can't really specify it in these kinds of programs, softwares. So what I'm doing is just I'm overlapping where the regions, where these little bars end and where they start. So there's sort of a blur, so it's more smooth that way. So there we go. I like that, but I have a harmonization problem. I might give that to violins, so disregard that. And a lot of times you're gonna be doing that. You're gonna experiment and be like, "Ugh," or you're gonna be like, "Yeah," and you're just gonna have to go from there. Uh, yeah. Where sort of the idea of composing doesn't seem improvisational. It really is improvising a lot of the times. So I think that's not bad. Now the beauty of stringing instruments is that oftentimes when you're when you have a very thick texture, you can split a string section in two, and that's called a divisi. And what that does is it lets you have more parts in the string family, and just sort of gives it a more well-rounded. It lets the string family sort of blend into the rest of the orchestra instead of just standing out. So and Monica just said, I think it would sound better with viola instead. True, but I want the tension of the high register cello. I mean, like you would notice in certain film scores, it's either violins that have the solo or cellos. I mean, I get it. They're sort of ganking the violas a little bit there, but there's a reason for that, and that's because cellos, when they're up there, they just sound so sad. Like, I know Schindler's List is written for violin, but if you ever, any of you ever have the chance to hear it played by a cello, please do. It's so moving. Like, especially, you know, violins, sure, it's up here, and the guy's got a weird face going on. But on cello, it's so much more. Like, it's so cello is just, it's got more tension, it's got more zhizh, got more zing, got more to it. I love viola, don't get me wrong, but cello is the way to go, I feel, here. And you know, for those of you who have watched me, you'll know that I will go to any lengths to doctor these parts, just because they sound so shit on their own. These have already been doctored, but trust me, that's not the end of it. Anyway, so speaking of which, now, here's the thing. When you, and yes, I agree, Monica. Yeah, it's one of those songs. Confession, the Jurassic Park theme sometimes makes me cry too. I know it's about dinosaurs, but just the way it sounds, that soft horn, just makes you want to well up, man. Same thing goes for Never Forget from the Halo soundtrack. Don't even get me started. So here's the thing. While I'm building on this texture, this main horn melody is going to get buried. So eventually you're going to have to double it. I mean, it's just copy it and give it to another instrument. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to give cellos this part. Also, I'm going to fix this real quick. This has been bugging me. There we go. I'm going to give this to celli. And celli is just the proper way of saying cellos. Yeah. It's sort of like saying, sort of like how you're supposed to say spaghetti and not spaghettis. Yeah, it's sort of like that. Or, what's another Italian word that ends with E, but people always say it with an S? I can't think of one right now, but you get what I mean. So I'm gonna now. Some of you might be wondering, why did you add a slide? And that's because I'm trying to imitate the natural sort of movement of. Do I have my cello here? I do. Give me a quick second. Tis been a while, and I have not had time to restring this yet, so pardon the gangly look. It only has 2 strings on it right now. But to illustrate my point, what I'm trying to do with the slides in the cello part is to sort of imitate the natural shifting of the when you play the cello. Like, you don't actually go play a note, lift, play another note. You have to sort of slide very quickly, quicker than the string can register that slide. So there's just a little bit of a so yeah. Monica's freaking out about the blue cello. It's not actually mine. It's family friends. I'm just borrowing it. Well, really, I'm supposed to be fixing it, but yeah. I haven't got time yet, so Yeah, when I get around to it, it'll be fixed. Also, Monica, not quite a glissando, just a shift. It's just a shift. It's just the yeah. When you really think about it at the microscopic level, every shift is a sort of a glissando or portamento, but it's not really. You're glissing so fast, like I said earlier. You're glissing so fast that your string can't even register that you're doing the slide. So it just sounds like you've switched notes, whereas you really did slide up the string. Otherwise, if you let go and repress the string, it'll have like a tail end to each note. Be like uh, 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 it'll sound weird. So uh, back to this. Okay, that was a little loud. Oh, great. Okay, so. Okay, so let's see. Now, here's another problem we run into when we compose with um, cellos and French horns. They're both very resonant instruments. They both require sort of large spaces of air to amplify the sound. So a lot of times when they record, when these companies that make the software record the samples, you're gonna get one or two notes that are very resonant, and when they are played together, it just sounds, which is what we're getting with this low F. Um, so what we're gonna do is cheat, and the horn is already has enough power. So this cello can stay at the high F. Right? So yeah, that sounds fine. I just need to bump this up. Actually, I can't actually hear this. Let's see. Oh, and Monica just asked about a bass line to emphasize the cello for that emotional punch. Ah. For those of you who are just joining us right now, that's what I did with the trombones, and I'm gonna double that with tuba and maybe string bass and maybe some bassoon and English horn. Build that bass from ground up. So, like the trombone, this is what it sounds like. Right? Well, to more offset the French horn. Yeah, I agreed, but the French horn will get buried eventually. And I like to do this thing, and there's no official term for it, but for those of you who have been following me and have been listening to my themes, you'll notice that while the theme might be blaring at the beginning, it tends to sort of fade away into the texture towards the middle, but yet you still hear it in your head. And I like doing that. I like to do what I call sort of the psychological theme, the sort of the brain theme, not main theme, the brain theme, hashtag brain theme. And it's just, you've listened to it already. It doesn't need to be the most important thing all the fucking time. You can sort of hint at it every now and then. The audience will be able to fill it in. You're smart people. I have trust in you. I have faith in you. So yeah, it's it's all about you, not me. You filling in those gaps. So the sure, this main theme is gonna get buried, and there's gonna be it's gonna be just one giant chordal descending moment, um, and yeah. So let's. Also, there's a thing called not making it not as loud. Exactly. It's a subconscious melody. But yeah, that already sounds much better. So, going off of what Monica said about the bass line, I am going to build that right now. Got the French horn going. Not French horn, trombones going. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add another part, and that's the tuba. And tuba is sort of the big, as you can see. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it. Tuba is the big brother of the brass family. It gives that. Oftentimes, when you hear movie soundtracks and you hear, big sweeping bass lines, it's the tuba and the string bass working their ass off. They're going, bro. They're giving it that gut. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give it gut. So now, since the bass line is also going to be sort of subconscious, it won't be quite as present. Fart sounds, as Sean Fika would put it. For those of you who don't know, Sean Fika composes music too, but his music has actually been used on the show, on a Critical Role. But yeah, we're working on remastering all my themes, using much better samples. But yeah, he streams on Twitch too, right here on Twitch. It's a free plug party. It's twitch.tv/Sean Fika, spelled SeanFeica. So go check him out. We're gonna be streaming. I don't know when we're gonna be streaming. We're still finishing up the last one we were working on. But yeah, I think a running gag is fart sounds. Whenever we have a very low, powerful bass note, it sounds like someone's farting. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Also, let's see what chat is saying. Also, the one where you can float a beach ball by air. What? I'm sorry, that is flying right over my head. I know it's only like 8 p.m., but I've had a long day. So I apologize, and most of these comments just fly right over my head. I might get it later on and reply to you on Twitter, but for now, what? So let's build this bass. Oh, yes. Yes, I get it now. Yes, the tuba is the one where you can physically float a beach ball. Whew. Man, I need coffee. I'll do the plug later. But, yeah. I like that bass. Sounds much better. And then we're gonna give this to string bass just because And for those of you who are wondering, those of you who are familiar with um, orchestration, you might be wondering why my panning is a little weird. And for those of you who don't know what panning means, panning is just which side of your headphones the sound is coming out of. Um, so normally, your violins would be on your left, followed by viola, and then cellos, and then bass would be on the back. But I like a balanced sound, as I mentioned earlier. So I like first violins on the left, seconds on the right, cellos right next to the violins, violas, and then bass sort of just either right dead center or spanning the entire back of the string section. Right now I have them dead in the center. So we're just going to see how that works out. European organizations or orchestras. Yeah, I guess you could call that European. I have seen both in Europe and both in America. I guess it just depends on the conductor, how he interprets the piece and how he interprets the orchestration. Also, and how they interpret it is based off of history, music history, and what they think is authentic or artistic. So, yeah, I can't say if it's European or American, but it's definitely more of a late romantic, early 20th century sort of thing. I mean, there are examples of classical and baroque pieces that use that orchestration, but they were experimental at that time. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that orchestration was experimental at earlier times, and it really was solidified in the late romantic, early 20th century. It was more of a revival movement when it first started, but it became more popular. Just with the balance. So, I might stick these two down here. I like that, but it makes that bass line way too centered and way too modern. Not that that's a bad thing, but it sounds like an EDM, which is like an EDM bass line, which is not what I'm going for. If I did this in Mercer's theme and it worked because I was going for EDM, but right now it's like. Right, like it. So I'm gonna move this back up. You like that beatboxing, huh? Yeah. I know Tiberius might, I can totally picture him just dancing in the background. But, we're going for fantasy here. Maybe as like a bonus track, I'll do like a sort of weird anime, modern, classical mashup hybrid. But for here, we're going for um, you know, pure film music style. Drums, yeah, there will be drums. Not right here. I really want to keep it nice and like meditative almost. Um, the only drums I'm gonna add will probably be timpani, um, or some sort of peripheral like wind chimes, a little bit of auxiliary stuff, textural things, little zings here and there in the percussion section. Yes, keeping it mellow. It's a little boomy. A lot of times you're gonna be composing and you're gonna run into a lot of sort of little moments where you're like, that's a little weird. So you're gonna have to check your individual tracks or groups of tracks to see what's clashing, what's not working. Maybe it's working on its own, but when you add it with everything else, it doesn't work. So you're gonna have to check a lot of the times. See, it works on its own. I actually like that crash. I actually like that clash when it's a little softer. It just adds a little bit of. You can't see. I'm doing it. Adds a little bit of a. I call it the itchy feeling in my heart, in my chest area. Uh, I mean, like, there's. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you're nervous or when you're nervous, yeah, you get or you're uncomfortable, you get this sort of like, people call it your stomach sinking, but I don't feel it sinking. I never got that description, so I always called it like this itchy feeling. It's an itch inside. I want to scratch it out, like this itchy feeling in my chest. But yeah, that little clash there just makes me go a little, but then it just resolves and it's like, ah. And then there's another clash in the upper parts, and it's like, ooh, and then it resolves. Ah, yeah. Music is all about and ah. That's what constitutes to me good, tasteful music. Um, but yes, the quivering, as Monica's saying, the quivering, the hesitation, butterflies in your stomach. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you know what? That's actually good because I hate insects. I'm deathly terrified of them. Like, I hate the way it feels when they crawl on you. It's that sort of itchy. It's all itchy to me. But yeah, it feels like that, but inside. Ugh. Oh, let's not. Let's not talk about bugs inside. Not talk about bugs inside your body. I actually want that to sustain a little bit, that dissonance right there. Let's see. I could, because I like how these notes. I like these notes. I like how these notes are arranged in between the tuba and the trombone. Oh, let's not talk about that, Monica. She's talking about how you inhale bugs when you go to sleep. Oh, thanks. I'm not getting any sleep tonight. It's your fault. Let's see. Ah, I like it like this. I'm gonna have to give the clash via an upper part later. All right, now I'm gonna build. I have all my main components, I think. So I'm gonna build. I'm gonna give the French horn solo to the trumpets. See what that sounds like. Don't copy. And now I don't like this. That's, I call it the Donald Duck sound. Uh, I don't. I could give it a little fade in. Also, a little less breath because it's so high up. Also, I might need to doctor this a little bit actually. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Still a little bit, better. I might even give the French horn that E, that. Not a fan. Not a fan. actually okay with the trumpets not having that E. Needs more fade. Also, might have just solved a couple of problems right there. I had the wrong register. Yeah, I mean, trumpets can reach down to the original octave that I had it at, but with these samples, oftentimes you're gonna have to make sacrifices. So, it's coming in a little hot at one point. It's this. Eesh. Let's see. How else can I fix? Now, I'm gonna teach you all a little trick. As most might consider this cheating, but I really don't want this one note to ruin the whole line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate the note on a separate track so I can have it fade in as soon as I need it and then fade out as soon as I don't. So okay, I can doctor this even more. There we go. So I don't need this. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just sort of giving the harder note more build throughout its duration, and the softer note a little bit of a decay right here, and just so the sort of that hardness remains constant relative to the body of the note. Now see, there's still peeking out a little bit too much, so might actually do this. Actually a little bit too strong still, that attack. it's still a little. So I need to fix it. Getting there. So close. Okay, let's try a new thing where this completely ducks down. Now, it's still a little bit. So I'm gonna punch these forward a little. Yeah, so they sound a little bit more in time. Actually, those are a little early, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Another way. Is to do the slur. Monica says the trumpet is smoothing out the cello a little. Yeah, because it's relative. The trumpet you're hearing is so truncated that it's making the already truncated cello part less truncated, so it sounds smoother. It's all relative. I want this a little bit smoother. Excuse me. Let's try this because I like where this is going. Ooh, I like that. Okay, maybe punch this back a little bit. I like that. That's much smoother and much nicer. So actually, if if you've been with us the entire time, you'll notice that the trumpet part is actually doubling the second horn part ish. Um, you know what? It's half and half. It's half and half. The first half is the first horn part. The second half is the second horn part. So, a little bit of both. That's nice, and I'm actually gonna double the first half of the horns with second violins, I think. Yeah, or violas. Let's try violas. Don't copy. You violist. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I just need to make it smoother now. Let's see. See, the trumpet is still standing out a lot, and violas don't sound too good up there in this sort of orchestration. So I'm actually gonna. So sorry, Monica, but I'm actually gonna gank the violas and give this part to violin twos and bump it up an octave. Oh, hold on. Oof. I'm sorry, Monica. The violas just don't sound good in this with the arrangement I have. Especially with now that I need to bump it up an octave. Yeah. You should know, you're a violist. They sound good with staccatos. That's the one. Staccati. They sound good with staccati. But when it's long sweeping melodies, they need to play in their range. Otherwise it sounds a little... Not shrill. That's not the right word. It just sounds a little... Sounds a little not there. Yeah, that's the thing with violas. Is when it's thick and sweeping and not very staccato based, the violas tend to get swallowed up, and conductors always give violas a hard time. They're like, yeah, like you, like Monica is right now. But yeah, violas always get a hard time because conductors are just like more violas. But yeah. Let's see. Reviewing my notes. Reviewing my notes. Okay. All right. Huh. I might actually need it to be... give that to... Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I'm assuming that's like a school orchestra or something, but like, and even in a professional orchestra, when there's like 20 something violas, they still get drowned when in certain orchestrations. It's like I feel them, you know, and but at the same time, when I myself am playing an orchestra, sometimes I get one of those moments where I'm like, God, can't you just play louder? But then when I'm composing, and I sort of get the whole big picture, I feel them. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I got you. Yeah, you got some shit notes there, man. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see. It's getting there. It's getting there. I might. What I'm doing now is just sort of balancing this dissonance. I decided to give it a dissonance right here instead of following the melody and having a F F A B C or F E D B Fa Mi Re Ti Do F. I can't convert sometimes. But yeah, anyway, I decided to give it a dissonance right here. Just so it tension building. It all comes down to that tension building. Yeah, it's this beginning right here. It's a little strong. So I like that. I might need the trumpets a little louder. I might need to just do the viola part right now, just so there's a little bit of hollowness going on the right side. So what note did I have before? Oh, I hate it when it does that. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It adds a little bit more zhizh. No other way to put it. So let's see. And this will blend nicely with the seconds, I hope. And thank you, Monica. I agree. I like how it sounds right there. I don't need this. Okay, let's see what we got so far. I think we got a little carried away. Might actually bring all this down an octave. Violins can actually reach that note. So, thank you. Let's see. An hour and a half, and I'm still only on this one bit. But that's okay. Quality over quantity. Yeah. Sort of straddle between that lower violin's register and the upper one. Actually, let's see if that works. Nah. It's a little iffy in the front, but that's good. I like that. I probably need to mess around with the build up to it a little bit more, but that's good. And sort of a good fix is just to make sure everything blends. So let's give these a couple of bars. Oh. There we go. Give it a little kickstart there. I like that, but it was a hair early, so instead I'm gonna do this. And don't forget, I still need to add winds. Let's do that now. No. Yeah, let's do that now. But I just want to see how well it fits into the reiteration right after this. So let's do some cleaning up real quick. All right. Oh. Well, I was dumb. You know what? I only needed I only needed that. So it's only 840. Keep. It's only 840 and I'm already making stupid mistakes. Not that I wasn't already. Alright. Move. And then do a little bit of housekeeping. Oh. Made. Fucked up there. Let's just, yeah. Make it vanilla for now. Nice. I just need to bump some things up an octave, and yeah. Something like that. Yeah. That's a yeah. Give it a little bit of that Vox Machina vibe that I've sort of established. A little bit of Irish bouzouki or guitar, a little bit more country. But yeah, and then add a little bit of a, blip, 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 blip. Every time I try to think of the what to put with this, it just I end up thinking of the Quidditch theme from Harry Potter. The like I don't know, it fits in a way, given Tiberius's character. Like, yeah, but you know, I'm gonna have to think of something else. Nice. Wait, today is the 20th? Ah, great. Huh. I did not know today was the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter being published. Good to know. Yay! Hashtag nerd life. Bass is bothering me a little bit. Ah, here we go. And what did you say? Look at FB. FB did something special for the anniversary. Really? Facebook did something special for the anniversary. I'm gonna check it out right now. Excuse me for a minute. No, I also don't want display. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. You sure not Google? My Facebook looks vanilla as fuck. But, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it. Every time you make a status with the words Harry Potter. Oh. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I see your status, and it doth not show. I do apologize. Maybe it's because I'm using Safari. Might be, that's why. Are you using Safari or are you using Firefox or Chrome? I swear to you it does not work on mine. Yeah. Okay, so I want this trombones to be doubled in the oboe. Oh no. Oh no. I done fucked up. Okay, I want it. Ah, I'm using Safari. So probably something to do with the HTML5, or one of the plugins is not working. That's why I'm not seeing it. So clarinets, I'm gonna give this done copy. Bass clarinets, but I need a bit more zhizh. Okay, this part needs to go up an octave. A little better, a little overpowering, so I'm just gonna, oh no, bring this down a little. There we go. Maybe I might need to fill in the chord. And this might actually be coming out too much, so. Try that. Ooh, yeah. I might actually need to change this. Oh, nice. Now it's a little hollow, but yeah. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna get. I need to give everything a little less punch when it comes in. Which I might do next stream, or at least off stream, because it's been 2 hours, and that's about as long as Critical Tunes run. So you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'll play it once more. I like that. And that is the mainish theme for Tiberius. Thank you so much for watching Critical Tunes. Please follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/AidenChanMusic. Um, also, uh, composing music takes a lot of time and effort, and oftentimes it means that I have to miss out on some other money making ventures. So, if you would like to, do consider donating. The link is down below, but also, I'll just say it, plug it in right now. It's streamlabs.com, no, twitch.streamlabs.com/AidenChanMusic. Um, any amount is greatly appreciated, even like $1. That'll buy me a coffee, and coffee fuels music making. So, also follow me on Twitter for more updates and work in progresses off stream. My Twitter handles, as I've mentioned before, Aiden Chan, AIDENCHAN. For those of you who have not heard my music before, do consider subscribing and following me on YouTube. That's youtube.com/C/AidenChanMusic. All of my Critical Role music is up there. Right now, it's my main project, so all my current stuff is Critical Role, but there are some other works and videos up there too. And yeah, I'll hope to see you on the interwebs, and good night.